All right, guys. So here's that next part of this thing. Again, I just wanted to show this. You know, subtraction problem, multiplication problem. There's nothing between the binomials in this case. So this is just FOIL. 2x squared times 3x squared. You do 2 times 3, you get 6. X squared times x squared is x times x times x times x, or x to the fourth power. So there's your first terms multiplied. The outsides on this case, you end up with 2 times 11, which is 22. I should have that being negative 22. X squared times another x gives you x to the third. And then your insides, you have negative x times an x squared, which gives you x cubed, x to the third. And that 3 becomes negative on there. And it looks like these can combine in a minute. We'll combine those next. And then you're doing the last terms, negative x times negative 11x. Multiply those two, and you get a positive 11x squared. And look, it's already in standard form. They're in decreasing order. Beautiful. If you combine these two, you should have had negative 25x cubed. So there's the simplified answer. Ends up being a trinomial. As we often know, a binomial times a binomial is often a trinomial. The other ones are subtraction problems. So you attach this negative sign here, and you have negative x squared and a negative 3x squared. That gives you negative 4x squared. I don't know why I'm jumping to this one. Apparently, I changed my mind. So this changes to, I don't know why I jumped down here, to negative x squared. This negative becomes positive 3x. And the last part of this positive 5 is actually being subtracted. So you got negative 5 on there. So you change all the signs on anything you're subtracting, and then combine on here. 5x, I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to start with the bigger exponents. Negative 7x squared and negative 1x squared is negative 8x squared. The 5x has friends with 3x, and you get 8x for that part. And the last one on there is just negative 5. It's got no friends. It's by itself. It's at the end of that trinomial. So you got a second degree trinomial here, fourth degree trinomial up here. We'll see what this one works out to be. Negative x squared minus 3x squared. Hopefully you get negative 4x squared for that. And then the last part of this, the 6 combines with nothing. The negative 7x became positive 7, and that's all it is. I mean, that's a pretty simple problem. All we're really checking is, do you get the sign on that correct? If I'm looking at this on a test, I'm checking, do you get that sign correct? And is this coefficient correct? Do you get, negative 4 instead of, say, 2 or 5 or 3? Beautiful. So same thing. Give these a try. You should, hopefully feel like you're getting pretty good at some of these. You'll notice, scan that part of the problem every time. That's an addition problem. You would hate me if I made you multiply a trinomial times a trinomial, because you get a lot of parts to that. This is a subtraction problem. I suggest you pause this thing and then check out my answer when you're all done. Most of you are pretty quick and can work all the way ahead and probably finish the whole thing. And I encourage you to try that and then come back and just check things quickly. So the first thing I did, combined my 5 and my 3 and got 8x squareds. I don't know, I could combine the y's, negative 4y and negative 6y, and get negative 10y. And then I could combine the xy's, 6xy's, and I subtract 1xy, I end up with 5xy's. This one down here, I'm thinking standard form, so I'm going to go with my 2x cubed, negative 2x cubed. This negative sign, because it's subtraction here, is minus and negative, becomes positive. So this negative 2x cubed plus 2x cubed goes away. It's gone. The 2x squared becomes plus 3x squared. I get 5x squared. And then, let's see, I got my x squareds, got my x cubes. The 4 combines with nothing. And the 2x combines with nothing. So I'll just attach the negative 2x here. And then attach the positive 4 at the end of that. So sometimes terms will cancel out as well. Last one in that group, 3y cubed minus a negative 5y cubed is really plus 5y cubed. So you should get 8y cubed on that one. Another way to do this, I guess apparently I'm going to show this one here. You can take these terms and line them up underneath here. So this is really positive 5y cubed. The x squared term becomes negative. I'm going to line it up underneath this one. And then my negative 4xy, I'm going to put it here as positive 4xy. And then this guy has no friends. This one's no like terms. I'll leave that down here as just a positive y at the end of this whole thing with nothing to combine with. So then you can just combine them. This is like adding 3-digit numbers. You get 8 y cubed, negative 8 x squared, 13 xy's, and then just a y at the end of all that. So, sorry that's a little cut off on there. Hopefully those make sense. And if you worked ahead, I hope I'm able to keep up with you. Be careful on one of these. That's right, 2 of these. You got kind of one of each type of problem, and then a bonus one at the end here. You've got an addition problem. You've got a FOIL problem because there's nothing between there. You've got a FOIL problem because there's nothing between there, a multiplication problem, and then you got a subtraction problem. So, good spot to pause if you haven't already done so. I'm just going to throw the answers up here in a second and let you check them in a minute. I'm going to throw them up here right now. I'm not going to really talk through them a whole lot. Let you see how you did. So those are what the answers should look like for these last 4 problems. This one's kind of interesting. Everything cancels out except for the x squareds. The negative 7x and the positive 7x, gone. They cancel. This one is the difference of 2 squares. We talked about this the other day, where the middle terms will cancel out, and your answer is 25x to the 4th minus 16. So you just don't even need any of that part of it when you read your final answer. This one's a FOIL question, and kind of a tricky FOIL question because of all the exponents. I'm not calling this an easy problem by any means. If you get it right, great. If you have every one of these exponents correct, you're really on top of it. I think they're all right. X cubes combined here to get negative 59, and this negative 7x to the 5th stays in the front. And then this last one, everything canceled except for these two, which have negative 3 minus 3, which is just negative 6. This negative sign became positive, which cancels out with the negative that's over here. So hopefully those made sense. There is a homework assignment. It's out of the textbook. Well, take it back. That's not your homework assignment. Don't do that homework assignment. Don't do that. There'll be another homework assignment I'll put up here, which is kind of a mix of problems for you to work on. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, the whole fun stuff you can do on there. So, I will be back later in the day on Monday. So if you have any questions, come by and see me later. If you want to come by during advisory or whatever that time is, you can certainly come by and see me. I'll be here later in the day. Thank you, and goodbye.